start by exploring the very basic one. We'll explore the menu system, access toolbar, the navigation tools, the shortcut menus, and others. And we'll continue in the data manipulation section. In this section, we'll explore the data entry methods, the data entry times, other tools and features. Then we'll go to understanding and using the formulas and function sections. We'll explore creating formulas, absolute and relative references, the most used formulas, and others. And then we'll jump to the different formatting methods. We'll have 8 lectures on the different formatting methods and techniques. We'll then explore worksheet layout, page setup, and printing. In section 8, we'll be busy on understanding and using the Excel charting system. And we will then go to the powerful Vlookup and related functions in section 11. And there are also essential data management tools and data analysis tools like the goal-seek, the solver, and scenario manager in section 13 and 14. Last but not least, we'll explore and work on the powerful pivot tables and PivotCharts. So, at the end of this course, you will master the essential parts of Microsoft Excel. If you are ready, let's dive into the course. Excel is an extremely versatile end-user program. It is the world's most popular and powerful spreadsheet program. You can use it for data management and storage. Large amount of data can be stored and quickly processed in Excel by filtering, sorting, and doing calculations, logical analysis, charting, and other amazing built-in functions. It could be used in finance to format reports, charts, simulations, and do what-if analysis on data. Plus, it has a lot of finance-specific functions. If your work is sales-related, you'll need Excel to do totals, averages, margins, basic calculations, charts, and create wonderful dashboards, interactive menus, and many other indicators. You can use it for data analysis. Excel is a powerful tool for data analysis also. It has amazing features like pivot tables to consolidate and focus segment of your data from a large data set. If your work is that of engineering, you need it to do calculations, projected figures, quantities, Vlookup functions in charts of various types. They also have a range of built-in functions specific to the area of, such as convert, sine, cosine, and tan functions. The application of Excel is limitless. So let's dive into Explore. When you move the mouse or finger on the trackpad, the cursor around the Excel screen will also move. But at different times, this pointer will change. If I slide leftward and put it on a boundary between rows, it will change to a two-way up-down arrow. If you slide on this column header, it becomes a one-way down arrow. If you go down any cell and point to its corner, the mouse pointer changes from a 3-dimensional plus into a thin plus. So the mouse pointer will change accordingly. We can press Ctrl plus page down to move one sheet to the right. If we'd like to move leftward, we can do this with Ctrl plus page up. We can naturally use the mouse for this action also. If you have another workbook open, we can go to the View tab in the ribbon, and off to the right you'll see a button called Switch Windows. Now when you click the button, you'll see other workbooks if they are open, so we can switch as we want. If we are working on different projects or workbooks, we can easily switch windows. So to recap, we can use the mouse, the Ctrl plus down and up arrow, and the switch window for easy navigation in our projects. Above the ribbon menu system, in the upper left corner of your screen is what's called the Quick Access toolbar. Now it has only 3 buttons in it: a save button, an undo button, and a redo button. But we can add to it. We can put buttons up here for frequent use. For example, if we use the double underline command frequently, we can put it to the Quick Access toolbar. We can right click and we can add to it. So we don't want to go now and there. We'll save our time greatly. So you can come here and do the command in the other sheet also, and we can do the other tools in the same manner, and we can also add some from the default list like this sorted and ascending. If we need more, we can go to more commands. We can make any command we need it frequently, like this chart. And if we have 30 choice here, if we need more, we can choose commands not in the ribbon. So you can add any command we want. And if that were not enough, there is a choice called all commands. So here there are a ton of options here, 1,000 choices available. You can add any command you want, and top down order that we see here will correspond to the left to the right order. After we select our choices, click OK, and we have here we can remove if you don't want it, and we can customize the Quick Access toolbar also, that we can make an adjustment and click OK. If you want the original setting, we can go to customize a Quick Access toolbar and we can reset it. Click yes. Now we have the original one it looks when we first start Excel. Can put a Quick Access toolbar below the ribbon. If we change our mind, we can return it by right clicking. So the Quick Access toolbar is an excellent tool. Excel's menu system consists of a series of tabs followed by a group of icons. The entire menu system is referred to as the ribbon. The most common tab is the Home tab. In the Home tab, lots of formatting tools are available on the left side, here including some related to numbers, some additional command type features to the right also. In the Insert tab, here we have the pivot tables and the different charts and graph and some other related features. And the other is a page layout tab. It has a lot to do with printing and also some other related features. The formula tab has also a lot to do with formula, which has built-in formulas and some other features here as well. The Data tab contains important data management tools like sorting, filtering, and other features related to data management. And also the review tab, you probably will not use as often listed here, but we have here a spell check and some protection features like workbook protection and worksheet protection. These are very important. And also the view tab has a lot to do with some of the visuals. We have also the developer tab is the last one. And here is a file tab. Here we have a feature for file management, print, export, and other stuffs here. We can get back into our standard views of Excel by either pressing escape or this left arrow. Here are also additional sections in this little arrow. It shows us different features that we might not see here on the home tab. In the upper right, you'll see a choice related to how we view the tabs and the ribbon. The default is what we are seeing right now. If you want to show the tabs only, we can do it just to focus on the data. We can also auto hide the ribbon also. Good. We can return it back by clicking it again. So Excel ribbon system is very visual and intuitive. We'll use most of the features throughout this course. At the bottom of the screen, below the sheet tabs, you see an area referred to as the status bar. Very often, you will see the word ready in the lower left corner. When you take certain actions, like if I touch caps lock here, it says caps lock. But there are more uses. If I select the revenue column here, column A, at the bottom of the screen, there is a few statistical measures here. This tells me what's the average revenue, the count, and the total or the sum of the revenue. If we right click in the status bar, you will see a huge list of various entries. We can turn these on and off. It adds the minimum, the maximum, and the numerical count. So we'll see here the average, the count, the minimum, the numerical count, and the max and the sum. So the status bar keeps us informed as the number of the totals for different cells that we might have highlighted. There is also normal here, which gives us the typical Excel view. And the next button to the right is called the page layout. And this is handy as we start to work with different data. We can change the title and the logo also. Here is also the page break view, and this is also tell us to adjust and to make it ready for print. We'll discover more in a later section on this. The last one is here, the zoom bar. We can zoom in and zoom out as we want to view our data. The Excel menu system is extensive. There are so many commands here. In addition to this, Excel has so many handy tools to get our jobs done. The first one is a shortcut menu. If I want to insert a new row here, I can simply right click and see the options available. There is here insert, delete, and in other stuff. This is a shortcut menu. You can get this feature in so many places. Here in the tab, if I right click, I'll have so many options here: delete, rename, and tab color, and others. If also I right click on the main menu, I have this shortcut tools in my hand. So It's a great tool. The other useful feature is the mini toolbar. You can get the mini toolbar just when you right click the mouse. I can use this for formatting purpose. For instance, let's format this highlighted one. So it's very easy. Instead of searching these tools from the main menu, I can use them efficiently. So anytime we use the right mouse button, we'll have this kind of menus that will add for speed and efficiency. On an Excel screen, the area just below the ribbon is referred to as the formula bar. The formula bar right here contains information if the active cell contains information, otherwise it will be blank. If I click, for example, in cell J1, we see that it contains precipitation. If I click J7, it will be number, and if I click blank, it will be show nothing. Now the reason is called formula bar is if I go to a cell which contains a formula, the formula will be visible here in the formula bar. Here the formula is displayed, as you see, because as you move the active cell around, either by pressing arrow keys or pointing with the mouse and clicking somewhere, you want to know whether a cell contains a value or a text or a formula. It is very common to look at the formula bar frequently. There are many shortcuts and other tools for finding formula that we'll discover in this course. For now, keep the point that the formula bar is extremely useful to let you know what is going on on each individual cell. Excel has an extensive help resource. If you simply point to a button, you can see a brief description, and also we see the shortcut keys. Sometimes we see a choice called Tell Me More. If you click it, help screen will appear and we'll see the related information. We may see longer explanation like this one, the flash fill also here, and this will help us to know more about the tool. Here is also a tell me what you want do. We can type anything here. This type filter, can get detailed resources and information about filter from this get help on the filter. If you click it, you can get the help resource here. It's very detailed. Actually, it needs internet connection. So we can press F1 for fast help searching, and we can also smart lookup on Sparkline. So there are many resources in the Excel menus help system. In Excel, a workbook is a file, and interchangeably a file is a workbook. We can see the name of the file or the workbook at the top of the screen. If it is a new file, the name will be book 1. We can open up to see this in action. We can go to file and new and click this blank workbook. So here it is. Every workbook is comprised of at least one worksheet. You can add sheets here. This plus sign, and We can delete sheets, we can rename the sheet, and we can move it to any position we want. We can change the color of the tab like this. We can get all the options by right clicking on the name of the sheet. All worksheet or simply sheet is comprised of columns and rows. Columns are vertical and identified by letters. Rows are horizontal and they are identified by numbers. There are about 16,000 columns and 1 million rows down. Every cell in Excel on an Excel worksheet has an address. Right now I'm in A row 3. The address is listed here. So to recap, a workbook is a file and a file is a workbook. We have a working sheet, each more than 1 million rows and more than 16,000 columns. If we want to create a brand new workbook, we can simply press Ctrl and N for new. We'll have a workbook with a name book 1, in my case book 4. But there is another great way to start a workbook. If we need especially a quick starting template, we can go to File tab and click New. So here we have so many choices. We have so many choices to select to start our new workbook. We can select the category also. We can search from the internet if you don't get a fit. So let's select one of it and see it in action. Let me choose this project budget, campaign budget. So, and we can modify as we need. Now that's great template. So we can use a bunch of template to fit. Data entry is the most basic things we can do in Excel, but there are some rules, some concepts that we should become familiar with. Let's enter the quarter revenue of the 3 tech giants here. I will enter the name of the tech giants to down. I will enter the quarters across here. Let's start by entering the name of the tech giants. We can locate by the mouse or with arrow keys here in A2. Let's start first entering to be Google, then down arrow to get the next cell. Enter the Facebook, and the last one will be Microsoft. Here I missed the F here. We can edit it either by double clicking on it, or we can go to the formula bar and edit there simply. It's simple, we can edit it here. So, and here let me call this header to quarter 1, Q2 and Q3. Let's enter also random revenue in billions. First for Google 120 and 124. The next one is 140. Yeah, like I mistakenly changed the 0 to O, it automatically become left aligned. Notice it's become left aligned. So this tell me the input is not number. So go ahead and change the 0, the O with 0. Now it become right aligned. We can enter the other numbers, but the basic idea is numbers are always right aligned and the text are left aligned. The autofill feature of Excel allows us to quickly put data in the cell. For example, let's delete this quarter and enter it by autofill method. Let's call this one Q1. If we drag it to this side across, we'll see Excel is understood what we want to do and giving us suggestion. The next entry is Q2. So we can drag it and fill automatically. We can use it for months entry also. If we start here April and drag it down, Excel automatically fill for us the consecutive months. Sometimes it can work for shortened approach also. Let's start with Jan here and drag it down. It will fill as we want it. And sometimes we need to drag it upward also. Let's try here April and drag it upward. So it's working also. It's a very nice approach. And we can do it for date entry also. Let's enter here 1/1/2020 and drag it down. It automatically fills the next date downward. So the autofill feature is excellent. If you make mistakes, undo is a great help. For example, if you realize that the Facebook revenue here has a mistake, I could go select and delete the input. But if I want to keep it for now, I can undo my action. I'll go to the quick action toolbar and click the undo button here. The shortcut key is Ctrl+Z. It is an easy key stroke combination. This is undo my action, but it has more than that. If you click this little arrow, we'll have a choice from where we want to undo our action. We can undo up to 100 of our last actions. What if we need to return the undo? We have the redo button. The shortcut key for redo is Ctrl+Y. We can redo from where we want to redo it. There are some exceptions actually that we undo and redo does not work. Like if we delete this tab and want to undo, we can do that. And in the view tab also, most action cannot be undo and redo. So this undo and redo are really handy and valuable tools. We could press Ctrl+Z and Ctrl+Y to access them for quick. We have two options in case of saving data in Excel: the Save As and the Save option. We usually use Save As when we want to save a workbook for the first time and we need to rename and save it to another location. Let's try this concept in action. We have this workbook called Manipulating Data Entry in Excel. To do that, go to File and we have these options. Let's use Save As here. Here we can determine the place we want to save. Let's choose this PC we can choose desktop, and here we can edit the file name, and the file name can be data entry and editing, and you can choose the format here, save as type. We have many lists here. We can choose any like PDF or others. Let's choose this older version if we need it. So save, click save and continue. So we edit it and save it in the older version. We can save any format we need it. To update our work from time to time, we can use the save button or use the Ctrl S in short. Adding a comment in Excel cell is super easy. Sometimes we need to add comments to explain our users maybe how a certain formula works. In this worksheet, let's assume that the Q3 revenue is approximate for Microsoft, and we need to show this. To do that, right click the cell, and here we can write the data is approximate. This is the message we want to show, and we can resize the box if we need it. Resize. If we click outside, we can see a little red arrow which indicates the comment. We can edit or delete the comment by right clicking again. Here is the edit or delete comment. We can show or hide the comment from the review tab. Here we can show all comments, or we can hide the comment. So adding a comment in a cell can be a great help when we need it to show. Creating and manipulating formulas in Excel is a common job for many Excel users. We have here the tech giant's quarterly revenue in millions of dollars, and one kick truth is in Excel we write formulas based on location. So let's try to enter a formula to get the total sales of the first quarter here. To do this, we can enter the formula here in B6. We start always by equal sign. So we can try first by typing the cell, first B3 and B4 and B5. B4 here, not C3 but B3, B4 and B5. So it gets the total. Press enter, and we can do this in a simpler method. We can simply select the cell. Let's delete this and try again. Equals to here, and we'll select the cell B3 plus B4 plus B5. Now we get the same total. There is one more option to get the sum or the total. Let's try to find the sum in average of the company. So let's enter the sum formula here. First, let's call this header total and this average. So we can sum this 3/4. Start with equal and sum and open brace, and select the cell from B3 to D3 and press enter. You can close the brace. Now get the total. And also we can do in the same manner, the average is equal to average. Select this one and open brace. Select the cell from B3 to D3 and close the brace and enter. So we get the total and the average. You can drag it for the others company also. So these are relatively simple formula, but the complex formulas are also used in the same manner. In the last lecture, we created a simple formula here to get the quarter one total and the company total and the average of the quarters here. We want to do the same for the other quarters and the other companies. We can use our previous formula and see it. We can double click on it and also the related cells. We don't need to write here another formula. We can drag it here and across all the quarters. So we can drag here to quarter 3. So Excel automatically change the cell reference to copy the formula. If you double click one of the formula, we can see the change here. The cell reference is changed. In the same manner, we can drag this formula to down to get the company total and also for the average to down. So all the formulas are copied. So it is very easy, super easy for Excel. Sum and average are the most commonly used functions in Excel. If you want to create a total here, we can use the function sum is equal to sum, and we can select the data from the left, sum, and here we can enter it. So this is a total, but there is a faster way to do this. We can use the Autosum feature of Excel. We can go to the Home tab. It has a shortcut also, Alt and equal. Now we can put the cell I3 and we can press Alt equal. This is the result. Excel understands what we want to do. We can simply enter to get the result. Or we can simply select the cell we want to find the total and click the Autosum function. This is also faster. We can add also from different places, like from this table and that table. We can point any where, like here, around here, and we can press Alt in equal. Now we can select the cells we want to add together and press enter. Here is the result. We can find the average also from this drop down. We can go to Autosum and here is the average. We can select also the maximum or the minimum here if you want it to do. So it's great. In the last lecture, we have seen how to create simple formulas. Now we can go further to calculate year-to-date totals. Let's first calculate the profits. Here it is simple. We can subtract the expense from the profit. That's B3 minus B4. Now we can drag to copy the formula to the other cells. So now we get the profits. To calculate the year-to-date totals for the quarters across, first we should keep in mind the first quarter year-to-date totals equals the profits. That means B6 equals to B5. You can put simple formula here. B6 equals to B5. That's 29, 29. So the next quarter, the Q2, year-to-date total would be the first quarter plus the second quarter. That's, we can put a formula here, is equal to B6 plus C5 here. So B6 or B5 plus C5. So to calculate the for the other quarter, we can simply drag the formula up to quarter 4. So we get the year-to-date totals for the other quarters. We can use this a simple formula for others also. In the last lecture, we tried to find the year-to-date profits. Now let's try to find the percentage change of profit between the quarters from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Obviously, the first quarter will not have any change, so the percentage increase should start in quarter 2 here. So to get the change from quarter 1 to quarter 2, we can simply subtract this change. We can subtract quarter 1 from quarter 2, and we will see the change, and we will divide it by quarter 1. Let's insert that simple formula here, is equal to C6 minus B6, and we'll divide it by B6. Here quarter 1, B6, we can't enter this formula. We should enclose it by a parenthesis, otherwise the result will be wrong. So this is the result. If we didn't enclose with a parenthesis, so the result will be very different. It's 59. That's wrong. So we should consider always the order of operation. So now we can drag this formula to copy to the other quarters. Now this is a change. We can decrease the decimal. 2 decimal plus is enough. We can make it percentage. So this is a change. Excel has over 450 functions. It is a huge list of functions. If you go to the Formula tab in the ribbon and slide over one of the entries, the drop down, we can see them here. Here there is a huge list of financial functions. We may never use most of them. Here is a logical function here, and the next one will be the text function, and also the date and time functions, and here the lookup and reference function, and the math and trigonometric function, also the other function, statistical, engineering, and other functions. We may be overwhelmed with this huge list of functions in Excel. Can get a small tool when over the cursor there is a small tip here. This will give us a hint when to use the formula. Let's try one example. If you want to rank this new salary, what function is available to us? There is a rank average function. You can use that. You can enter the formula here is equal to rank average. Select rank average, and we want this number to rank, and the reference will be this list, or you can select column A, C, and close brace and enter. Oh, there is a mistake. First select the number. Here is the number C2, comma, and the reference will be column C. So we can copy it down. Here is number 1 in the list. Call this rank. So we can explore other function as well. In this lecture, we'll discover the importance of absolute and relative cell references in Excel. Let's start by understanding relative cell reference first. Let's use an example for this. If the company of this employee wants to increase their salary, say by $3,000, it's simple. We can simply add that amount is equal to B2, the base salary, plus $3,000, the increment, plus make enter and copy it down. So this is a new salary, but look the reference. This is B3, and this one B4, this one B9. So the cell reference is changing for each employee. This means the cell reference is relative. It will change from time to time. How about the absolute reference type? This will be a fixed type. Let's use another scenario for this to understand it. If you want to increase their salary, say by 3% here, so we can enter a formula here. The formula B is equal to B2, that means the base salary, times the increment, that is 3%, plus the base salary. So this is the increment, and we can drag it down to see the effect. For the first salary, it's okay, but the rest, as it is referencing an empty cell. So let's make this obsolete. Let's make it the cell reference obsolete. We can change it by pressing F4. So now it is absolute reference. Let's drag it again. So now it's working. It's referring F1. So the percentage increase as we need it. First, open up the formatting exercise files. Here in the font type sheet, we have this staff salary table. Here is a default font type. It is Calibri, and the default font size is 11. Previously, it was Arial with font size 10. Here there are a lot of font type selection to select from. We can see it in action. Let's select the table and see how it changes. There is a bunch of selection. You can select as you prefer and wish. You can select this. Let's see. And also we can make part of it bold or italic, and also underline if we wish. And also we can change let's undo this, and we can change the color of the font, and also we can change the background. Let's make this one, and also this color type, not colors but the background. Let's make this lighter, and let's change this and to make it uniform. So and here there is more possibility from this dialog box. There is effects, drag through, superscript and subscript, and font style also. So the possibility is many. Adjusting rows and column widths are very simple and straightforward. For example, if you want to make wider these two columns and B, we can select first, and when we point here in the intersection of B and C and click, we see the current width size. So we can drag it as we need to the left or to the right. We can also use the best fit method. We can select the column we want and double click it here. So Excel automatically adjusts the column width. If we need to apply for the whole sheet, we can select here and double click on one of the columns. So in the same manner, we can adjust the row width also. Let's select it and drag it to down, so we can increase the size, and also we can double click to automatically adjust. Here in the format command, we have a row height and column height adjustments. We can select any row or column and give the amount we want to adjust. So it is very easy and straightforward. Open up the exercise file first. In this lecture, we will see the application of align, wrap, and merge features. Text is automatically left aligned, and numbers are automatically right aligned. As you see here, numbers are automatically left aligned by default. Sometimes we need to change this default setup. For instance, if you want to align this right, you can go ahead and make align right, and you can make it center either if you need. In the same manner, we can align the top titles either right or preferably center. If any text is overflying the cell, let's edit this June the value just to show June salary detail. We can modify like this. Now as you see, it's overflowing, so we can simply select and we can make wrap text. Now it looks good. So further we can just some adjustment. We can make it bottom align, center align, or upper align. If we need to change the angle of text, we can simply try this option. There is a lot. There's vertical or horizontal or any angle. We can make also use the additional features here. You can select it first, go to additional feature. We can use this text align. We can rotate any angle and click OK. The other important feature is a merge feature. If we need to merge cells like this title, we can go ahead and select the cell we want to merge and use the merge in center or merge only. Can do the same, can change the background. So these are the best option. We can make special emphasis to certain cells in Excel by designing and styling borders. There is a border feature here in Excel. If you want to stand out certain cells, we can simply select and go to borders and maybe select this tick outside borders, or simply outside borders. So now it's becoming standout. So we can see more border features also, and here in the more, and we have this style. We can select any style. We can select the presets also here. We can also change the color. Let's select this red color. We can select this the borders also, and finally we can click OK. Now it looks good. If we change our mind, we can go ahead and select no borders. Now it's gone. We can also use the draw method. We can draw manually each cell or a group of cell, and also we can change the colors on the line type. Let's see it in action. Let's select this line type and the color is red. So it's great. Conditional formatting is a great tool for highlighting data, making it stand out. We can find it here in the Home tab. There are various features and options available. Let's imagine that this salary is to stand out in a different way. So go to conditional formatting and try the first one, highlight sales roles here. Here we have many choices. Let's try the first one, greater than. So Excel automatically suggests, but we can set our input here. We can change the color highlight also. Go to custom here and select whatever color you want. Let's select this yellow one and click OK. Let's clear this rule to try other. Can go to here the conditional formatting and clear rows from the selected cells. Now we can try the color scale. It highlights from small to large or vice versa. This is also good. Let's clear the rule for one more time to try other conditional formatting. Maybe we can try the icon set here. Let's clear and go to icon sets. We have many icons to select from. Let's try this one, and here it is. If we need to modify any of the rules, you can go to the conditional formatting and manage roles. Here there is edit roles, so we can modify any parameter here and click OK. The same manner, you can explore the other conditional formatting techniques. There are a lot, and you can try any. In Excel, the standard display of dates is, as we see in column E, that is the month, day, and year. For digit year, no leading zeros for the month or the day. We can format this in a number of ways. So there is a quick formatting way and the drop down list here. We can try the long and short day format. Let's try this. We can double click to expand. So if you are not okay with this, there is more formatting ways in the format cells. Press Ctrl 1 to access quick, and here we have more option, a lot of option here. You can select one we like to appear. We can select this one, and now we see the change. We can also customize this. You can go to again the format cells, and here we have custom. You can customize the way we like it to appear. For instance, let's try this. Add 2Y here. See the change, the year. Now we have customized. In the same manner, we can customize the time also. There is a shorts format here in the general tab. We can select that. But we have more choice in the format cells. Ctrl+1 to access that. And we have here a choice. We can select one of it, and we can see the change. We can also customize the time. Here in the customize, we can access one of it and customize the way we like it. Click OK. Finally, so in the next lecture we'll work on conditional formatting methods. Excel has different ways to format numbers and characters. In this worksheet we have this staff profile. We have the social security numbers, the phone numbers, and the salary data. The phone numbers and the social security numbers are randomly generated. Let's focus on the social security numbers. What's wrong with these numbers? We usually see dashes between the characters in social security numbers. So how do we format it? Rather than typing the dashes manually, we have a simple method. We can right click to get the format cell, or shortcut Ctrl+1, and here we get special characters. Here we have a special, so we see the social security numbers. So you can select it and click OK. Now it looks great. The dashes are not truly in the data. They are only in the formats. In the same manner, we can format the phone numbers. Press Ctrl+1 to get the format cell. We can right click and get the format cell as well. And here, the special characters, we have the phone numbers. We can select and click OK. So now the format looks good. For the salary, we usually add a $sign here. You can simply click format it here, but when we try to widen the column here, the format is not pretty good as you look. So we can tackle this problem by going to the format cell and choose another formatting method. So go to Ctrl+1 to the format cell. Here we have currency. We can select one of it. Now it looks great. Even though we widen the column, it will not change. We can decrease the decimal swell and center it. Now it looks great. In the next lecture, we'll work on formatting data and numbers. Tables are the common feature of Microsoft Excel. We can use them either to analyze or present data in systematic ways. We have this sample data. It is a small data, but we can use it to explore tables. Here in the Insert tab, we can insert tables, or we can use a shortcut Ctrl+T, T for table. Click one of the cells of the table here, and we can click this table. So Excel suggests a range. We can modify or use the suggested range. We automatically transfer to the Design tab. Click OK, and here we have the Design tab for the table. You can modify the table in many ways here. You can change the color of the table. Let's select this one, and here we have also banded rows and banded columns. We can choose one of it. If we want to make change, Excel understands what we are going to do in the table. Let's say we need to increase the salary by $2,000. Let's insert that. Let's call this header new salary. New salary. Let's enter the formula here, the new formula, the base salary plus 2,000. When we press enter, Excel automatically enters the others. We can use also a feature called a slicer. Here is slicer. First, let's insert a new column, a department. Let's call this department. Now let's insert the slicer. Select this department. Like we can resize this, and we can select either to analyze our data. Engineering, marketing, sales, whatever we want. There are a lot of features of the table to explore. This is a flat worksheet, and we can add many visual elements here. We can add company logo, we can add pictures, we can add shapes and others. Most of these features begin on the Insert tab. Here we can insert pictures. We can get it from this illustration. We can insert either from our computer or from online. Let's add our logo. Click insert here. Click insert and search the logo, and select and insert. We can adjust the size and insert a new row. This may be enough. Let's insert new row here. Let's widen the row to accommodate the logo. A little bit down. Now it fits. That's great. Let's merge this one for the header. Can also insert shapes from this shape store. Here there are a ton of shapes to select from. You have block arrows, question, and basic shapes, rectangles, anything you want. You can enter this hexagon. We can press shift to make it perfect, and we can adjust this also. Now let's insert some text after resizing to fit for the header. Let's insert maybe, let's say, 11 Excel staff salary data. Just for is an example. Data. Can modify the hexagon a bit. Can change the color. Can go to format and change the background color. Maybe this green, and put the header. Make some adjustments. We can increase that text size. Now it looks good. The other is we can insert also smart objects. Here there is smart object. There are more than 200 smart objects. We have a relationship, matrix, pyramid. There is many. Let's insert one. Maybe this process gear. Resize, and we can edit the text. Let's say we can call this one phase 1, and the other maybe phase 2, and the third one, phase 3. We can change the color from here. Let's make this one. It looks beautiful. We can also change a background. You can see the background. Go to format, and we can make this light blue. So we can easily add visuals to our boring data. Sometimes we need to look and find data in a large list, or we may need to replace data with other inputs. In this case, find and replace feature of Excel will be a great help. If you want to find a particular employee name, for example in this list, we can go to find and replace in the Home tab here, and find what says. First, let's select the column, and we can type the name of the employee we want. Let's go find Robert, find all. So Excel finds one employee in this list, and it highlights also the data. So you can close if we get what we need, and we can find and replace data also. We have here employee status. Let's imagine that we want to change all contract employee to part-time employee. We can go to find and replace, and here replace. Let's delete this. Let's find contract employee. In the list, we want to replace with a part-time. Now replace all. So we get at least 3 employee in that status. So we have replaced all the 3 employee status. Now all the contract employee are changed to part-time status. We can use formatting also. If we need to change color, a different color, can do that also. In the option, let's select this yellow color and find let's change our criteria. Let's find a part-time this time and change with contract, replace with contract. So we have 6 employee, change all that, it's color yellow. Most of the time we'll use these 3 operations, copy, move, and insert. Let's begin for copying data operations. We can use the normal operation. We can select the data and press Ctrl plus C to copy, and then Ctrl plus V to paste our data. There is a faster way to do that. You can select the data and drag it and press the Ctrl key while dragging. Now drag and press the Ctrl key. look a small plus sign appearing to indicate that we want to copy the data. We can release it in the place we want it to appear. Now it's copied. In the same manner, we can move rows and columns as well. For example, let's move these phone numbers before the social security numbers. We can select the column and press the shift key and put the place we want to live. We can insert data also. If we need to move and insert here Walter White above the Robert Boyce, we can simply select and drag and press the shift key as we move, and we can put there above the Robert. Now it's above the Robert Boyce. We can insert this the simple way. We can move and copy worksheets also. Right click the tab and you will get a copy or move command here. Here you can move or create a copy to this worksheet either or into new worksheets. Oftentimes we need to change the layout of a worksheet. Maybe we want to insert a new column or a new row. Sometimes we may need to delete or a column or a row. We can do this quickly and easily. First, open up the Exploring Worksheets layout file. So if you need to insert a new column, for example here, we may need a staff ID here, so we can simply insert that. The home tab, there is insert sheet column here. So the quickest maybe using the right click and insert. You can highlight and insert the place we want to insert. So here is the staff ID. So Excel knows we want to insert the columns. In the same manner, we can insert rows from the home tab either, or we can insert by simply making right click here and insert here, so we get this new row. Here is a little problem, however. While inserting the whole row, we have distorted the data here in the right. How can you insert row without disrupting this data? You can simply select the cells and right click, select the cell and right click and insert. Now we can shift cells down. So now the data is safe, and while we insert our new row, so we can delete rows and columns naturally. You can select the rows and columns we want to delete, right click and then delete command. When we work with a certain list of data, there may be times we don't want to see a part of the data very often. we don't want to get rid of it, but we simply want to hide it for the moment. If we want to hide here, for example, the social security numbers, since it is more personal or omitted from printing, we can hide it. Select the column first you want to hide and right click and make it hide. Select, right click, here is a hide. Now when you hide it, now we don't see the social security column. Here is a double line to indicate there is a hidden column here. If we need to unhide it, it's simple to do that. Select surrounding column here and right click and we'll make it unhide. Now it's back. Or we can simply double click the double line here and it will be also unhide. In the same manner, we can hide rows also. If Morgan, this employee Morgan Warner, leaves organization and hide him from the list, you can simply select and right click and make it hide. Select and hide, so he can. If another time we need to see all our previous stuff, we can simply double click this double line here, or we can go to right click and click unhide. So double click, that's it, great. Or right click, so by selecting surrounding, make it unhide. So now this employee is returned. So hide and unhide feature are a great way to present our data. We can get the printing controls from the page layout. Here there is additional dialog box containing the controls. We can click this small box and we have this dialog box. On the page tab we have the orientation. We can toggle either portraits or landscape orientation. Here there is scaling. Now it is 100%. We can adjust to some percentage, say 80%. So the page size will shrink and it will reduce the number of pages. And also the other is fit to. We can fit to the data to one page or number of pages. Say we can set it 8 pages. This will squeeze the page to 8 pages. There are also other controls here. The other is margins. We have these margin features also. You can decrease or increase to control the layout. There is top, right, bottom and left. You can see always our changes from the print preview here. The other control is the header and footer section. We can customize the header and footer here. You can click this button. Let's try to customize the footer. In the left section, we can enter the page number. Maybe in the middle section, the title of the page has information. You can say that. In the right section, we can enter the date and time. And when finished, we can click OK. And also here, we can close the dialog box. In the sheet tab, in the sheet toggle, we can set the print area, rows to print as we did it in the last lecture, and we can set the other here, the in the print you can set the grid lines on and off, and also we can change the other features. These are the most used print controls. We should always see our changes in the print preview. We can finish like this. We can create charts in Excel in a number of ways. First, open up the charts exercise file, and the first worksheet we have is this data, so-called ABC trading. It is a global sales data. Let's use it for creating charts. First, highlight the data we want to create the chart. Let's create, let's select this data. We can start by Alt and F1 method. Alt plus F1. We can get a chart immediately right on the same worksheet here. Let's decrease the size to see the data, and notice the menu system is changed. We have got the charts, tools, a design tab, and a format tab also. The most standard way to create a chart is to go to Insert tab here. Let's first select the data, go to Insert, and here we have recommended charts. We can try that. It gives us a cluster chart, or we may use our choice here. We can use the provided one. So this is the same chart with the last one we created. There are many chart types here. We will explore in the next lectures. There is another way to create charts. Let's delete the other end, select the data and see the preview. There's a lot of type, so we can try this. There is also another way to create charts. Let's select the data, and there is a small box at the bottom and suggests a quick analysis. If we click it, it will take us to charts. Here, let's click it, and here is charts. We can see the preview of the provided charts showing our data. Great. So in the next lecture, we'll be busy working on exploring the different chart types. Formatting charts is a funny and easy experience. When we create charts, everything is in place for a presentation. This highlights the data and create a new chart. Go to Insert, and we'll use a recommended chart this time. Recommended. We can use this line graph for this particular data. This is the recommended one. Let's resize it a bit. Here we have the chart title, and categories with the time variation. We can edit the title manually, or we can pick the title from the cell reference. Let's pick from this cell, click and equal sign, and select the title from the cell. This is PC trading. That's great. We can change the layouts also. Here we have a quick layout option. There are a lot of options to select from. I like the first choice. Here we can edit the axis title and click and call it sales in millions of dollars. Sales in millions of dollars. We can change the style of this chart also. We have here a highlight. We can choose any one appealing. Let's use this one. Not this one. Maybe not this one. Let's change this one. Yeah, this is better. We can change the format here. There are a lot of choices to select from. We can select any theme style. You can experiment any formatting inputs. Let's go home and change the color, and here also color of the font and this axis. We can resize, and we can change again the style. This may be much better. The basic idea is Excel has all the power to create more appealing charts that we design easily. The various components of a chart are referred to as chart elements. As we select a chart, the outer area near the borders is referred to as a chart area, and the inner area is called a plot area. We have these three elements to the right side of the chart: the paintbrush and the plus sign and the funnel. The paintbrush will help us to select style as we did in the last lecture. Let's select a lighter style as this time. Select the first one. It looks great. Now click to reveal it. The plus sign reveals the heading chart elements. The first element is the axis, the primary horizontal and vertical axis. Yeah, we can switch on and off. The second one is the axis titles. We can show the horizontal axis if you wish to do. We can change the chart titles as well. The data levels. We can also position the point above, below, and we can switch on and off. These are the data table and the digit, trend line, everything. You can format the individual chart elements. Double click the elements that you wish to format, and here there are a bunch of options to consider changing. You can change the color and the chart elements and other criteria. So it's good. Here we have the axis. We can deal with the axis elements. Here also other features. So we can format and deal chart elements in a number of ways. There are many chart types to select from that are going to work on different data types. Let's use our sample data to explore the different chart types. Let's first select the data. Select this sample data, and we can press Alt plus F1 for quick. This will create a default chart. This is a clustered chart type. Most of the time it will be the best chart. It shows the data clearly and what is going on here on the data. Let's resize it. We can change this chart types. However, we have the chart type button here. We can click it and we can change it to stacked column. Stacked is cluster column. This is stacked column. The other maybe this one. This is a 3D one, and we can try this. This may not be the best chart, but we can see how it looks. So it's great. We can try also the bar chart, the types. Go to chart type and change the bar graph. This is a different variation, a stacked one, 100% stacked. You can just style it, and we can try the line graphs as well. Let's go to chart types again, and this is a variation. Let's select this one with the markers. This may be the best chart type for this data because we have a time variation in our data. It shows how the sales are changing from time to time, from January to June. Can try also the pie chart. A pie chart can all deal with a limited amount of data. Let's change that. Let's go to pie chart. Select the data and go to pie chart. Let's use this 3D pie chart. We have all this data, but it deals with only the national sales data. So a pie chart is not the best fit for this type of data. Let's keep that. And there are also other chart types. Let's go to explore. Here we have area chart, XY chart, stack chart, surface chart, radar chart with this variation. Is this one a histogram with a Pareto chart variation, the box and whistle chart. Here is waterfall chart and combo chart. Here we can combine two charts in one place. So there are many options to select from. This lecture will explore new charts that are available in 2000 Excel 2016. The first new chart we are going to explore are the trim up and sunburst chart. Both use two parts to a whole when several columns of categories form a hierarchy. Let's click one of the cell and try first the trim up. Go to insert and insert the trim up. Let's delete the legend since we don't need it, and we can resize it a bit. So this shows or gives us a big picture to see our data. As you see, manufacturing has the large share. This is true because the salary distribution is also high. It's expected. The other is the sunburst chart, which will give us the same output except in a different method. Let's try that. Delete it first and go to insert, and we'll insert the sunburst chart. So this the inner portion is the department and the outer one is the status. Here also manufacturing has a large portion as expected from the data. And the next chart is a histogram chart. Let's move on to the right to see the data. Histogram shows the distribution of data grouped into bins. Let's insert that. Go to here and insert histogram. Let's resize the chart to see the data. We can modify the bin width. Double click to do that. Let's make the bin width maybe 10,000. Look on the change. So we can also modify the other stuff, the style, see what we wish to do. So delete that. So let's move on to the Pareto chart. The Pareto shows the relative portion of each factor to the totals. We have here original sales data. Let's insert the Pareto chart. Move to here. Here is a Pareto. Let's resize it. So it shows us what is happening to the data compared to the other. The other is a box and whisker chart. Let's move on to the right to see the data. Here it shows us the category and displays the variation within a set of data. Let's enter that. We have this sales data of the different states. Okay, this is a box and whisker. Let's we can format the data and make another modification as well. And double click, and this shows the mean and the inner points and other modification. Delete this. And the final, on the last chart we are going to see is a waterfall chart. It shows a cumulative effect of a series of positive and negative values. Let's insert that. Go to insert, and here is a waterfall chart. Let's resize it, and we have here negative value. It shows the flow of data throughout these months. So these are some of the new charts. whenever we need to print a worksheet, it is better to get the print preview first. We can get the print preview from the quick access toolbar here, print preview and print, or we can use a shortcut Ctrl plus F2, or we can use the file and print command. Here, file and print. You can see the preview here with other settings and controls. Here it says it's 2 pages. Let's skip to return and do some changes here. Return, and if we change here the orientation to portraits and see the preview again, let's go to file and print. Now the page number becomes 60. It's reduced to 60. I will work on setting up the page for good printing the next lectures, but now let's work the others. We can use also the print title features here, so that the title will appear on each page. Select rows to repeat at the top. Select the row, we can select this row and click OK. Now it will appear on every page. We can make some design in the layout from the page layout. So click this, and we can go in the design tab. Here we can change our title. Let's call it health information, and here we can enter the page numbers. Page, you can see the page 1. Maybe we can call it page and blank space, and we can enter here the date and also the time. So now it becomes great. Let's see our modification in the print preview. Let's go to print preview, file and print. Okay, now we can see the modification. There is more print features, and we'll explore in the next lectures. The page break preview is another approach to get started printing. We can get this here, page break preview. We can click, we'll see the page, this page breaks. This page is 1, and this is page 31. The document is cut, and this will be part printing. We can make some adjustments here. Let's go to page layouts and increase the margins. Let's use this normal. Now it's became 29. So let's use narrow margins. We can also decrease the column size. Select all and drag it a little bit to the left, and now it looks better. Now we can drag also the page break to include the whole page. Can drag it to the right. Now it's become one page. Let's see now the print preview. to see our changes and modification. Now it's become 21 pages. It's greatly reduced. We can print the active sheet or print selection or the entire book. We can also select the page we want from the documents. Let's say we can print from page 2 to page 4 as we wish to do. But before printing, we have to make the view 100%. We can use this slider to make it 100%. So we will work on page layout controls in the next lectures. We will be working on how we can display different workbooks in a single window, and we will be able to display also a different worksheets of a single workbook. We have now 3 workbooks opened, and we can display each in 2 simple methods. Either we can use the Ctrl plus Tab keys, or we can select one from the views and switch windows. You can select one of the worksheet here, and if we need to open just 3 workbooks together, we can go to View and Arrange Windows. Let's go to View and here Arrange All. We have a list of options to select from. Let's try the tiled and click OK. Now we can see each workbook independently and work whatever we want to do. You can compare or copy and paste data from one workbook to the other. Let's delete these 2 workbooks to try the next one. If we need to display and work on different sheets of the same workbook, we need first to open a workbook in new window. Let's create let's go to View, and here we have new window. Let's create this, do one more time, new window. And now we can go to the View and Arrange All options. As this time we can check windows of active workbook. Now we have different worksheets of the same workbook together. We have this sheet, and we have the next sheet and the third sheet also. The if function is the most powerful function of Microsoft Excel. It is a conditional kind of functions. It allows us to come up with multiple answers based on a certain conditions. Here we have ICT sales, and here we have a shipping costs. Also these item costs, and this is a subtotal, and this is a shipping cost. We want to add some conditions here on the shipping cost on the subtotal amount. That is, if the subtotal sale is greater than like 5,000, there will not be a shipping charge. Otherwise, there will be a 2% shipping charge. To handle this condition, we'll use the if formula or the if conditions. So let's start here the formula. If, select the if function or type it, and logical test will be the subtotal, that is if4 greater than equal to 5,000. So the shipping charge will be 0. Value if true will be 0, comma, if false, if the condition is false, it will be 2% to the subtotal. That means 2% times E4 or the subtotal. Select the subtotal and close brace and enter. Now for this case it is greater than 5,000, so there is no shipping charge. We can double click to copy it down. What if we change our mind and 3,000 is also great sale and we want to decrease the shipping charge? We can simply modify the formula to include this condition also. Double click to access that formula, and we will modify it. So double click this formula and can incorporate that conditions. Up to here it is okay. Now we will add another if function here. If E4 greater than or equal to 3,000, comma, the value of true is 1% times E4 or the subtotal, comma, otherwise it will be 2%, comma, it will be 2%. Now we have an error, so we missed one brace. So this Excel will correct for us. Now let's double click it to copy it down. Now we have an update. So 3,000 also included. This is a simple example. The if function is a powerful tool to handle such conditions. We have two workbooks opened here. Let's try to pull the total of Google revenue from Workbook 2 to Workbook 1. To do that, simply types of formula is equal to, and we'll go to Workbook 2 and we'll select the total of the Google revenue cell reference. Go to Workbook 2 and select B3. This was the Google revenue from the 3 sheets. Now we have connected the two workbooks by formula. How do we know we have a link in this workbook? We can go to data, and we'll see the links here. Here we have edit links. If this is not active, that means we don't have a link in this workbook. For example, if we delete formula, the links will disappear. Let's undo that action, and to which a sheet is linked, we can simply click and edit the links. Here we have the sheets connected. Every time we have an update on the other sheet, this will also be updated. We can open the source data, update data, break the link if we don't need it anymore, and check the status of the links. So this will work as a link. Moving worksheets don't need any command. We can click and drag to the place we want to insert. We can place it here, and we can move this sheet to this place also. Copying sheets is also very handy and very easy. We can right click to the sheet we want to have a copy of it, and here we have move or copy command. To copy the sheet, we need to click this checkbox, and we can copy to new workbook or to the existing workbook here. Let's create a new brand workbook. Here we have the new workbook with its content and formatting from the original. We can group sheets if we want to edit or format together. Say, let's group these three sheets together from the charts, chart elements, and format charts together. To do that, select one and hold Shift key and press the third sheet. Now press Shift and click the third sheet. Now we have grouped. Here it says group. Let's increase the row height on one of the sheets to see the effect. Let's select all first and increase the row height, and check the other sheets so it appears on the group sheets, and we can see the other sheets also. The other sheet is as it is, not affected. If you do not want the grouping anymore, we can right click one of the group sheets and click ungroup. Can go to right click and ungroup sheets. Now the group has gone. These three operations, rename, insert, and delete, are super easy to do, but they are very essential worksheet management tools. We have this chart workbook and these sheets on it. If you want to rename a worksheet, simply double click on it and start typing the new name. Let's rename the other charts here. Double click and call it new charts. So we can simply change it the name. If you want to insert new sheets, for example, before format charts sheet here, simply right click on it and insert. So we can insert and click OK. We can also use a shortcut that is Shift plus F11. So this will also create a new worksheet. Look, when I press Shift plus F11, here you have a new sheet. If you want the new sheet to be after, we can simply use the plus sign here in the right. You can also delete sheets if we no longer need it. To do that, simply right click and delete. Excel warns, however, the action is permanent. We cannot undo it if you did a mistake, so we should double check before we click delete. We have here 3 sheets, each contains different quarter data: quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 revenue. We want to add the total of the quarters in different sheets. Here we have the totals. Let's find the total of the quarter from the sheets. Start for Google and type the formula here is equal to, and go to quarter 1, the data, select the sheet, that's B3, plus, and go to quarter 2, select the revenue for Google, and finally go to quarter 3 sheet and select the quarter revenue and press enter. Now we have this total. Now we have this, and we can drag it. Look, the formula is a bit lengthy, but we'll have the totals without typing this formula. We can do this in another method. Is equal to, start with is equal to, and sum, select the sum function, and select the first quarter, press enter, press shift and select the last quarter. Now press enter. We have the same result, and the formula will be a bit shorter than the previous one. How about the data are in different workbooks, and want to sum them in a new workbook? Here we have a new workbook, and we want to bring and sum the 3/4 revenue. How can we do it? Start by is equal to, and go to the sheet and select for Google, and go to quarter 2 and select the next one, and go to the last quarter and select the revenue. Now we have this total. So even the formula is a bit lengthy, but we get the total from the different sheets. That's great. Excel has a great computational capability when it comes to working with dates and times. And also it has a number of built-in functions that allow us to work with dates and time efficiently. We can enter dates either by slash or dash. Let's enter by slash separator first. Check it. 8 1 20 20, and we can enter the same value with a dash separator. Here the result will be the same. 8 1 20 20. It will be the same. Yeah, it's the same result. Some country may start with a month and others may start with a date. You can format to change it to this type and click OK. So it looks like this one. And if we mistakenly enter the date like this one, 2/30/2020, Excel put as it is. That means it does not consider it as a date entry. This is because there is no 30 days in February. We can check this by this format type, so it doesn't change it, so it does not understand that is a date value. So we should correct this one. 28, it will be yeah, that's good, it's correct. You can also enter time. We can type like 4 1 4 and 3 8. Can make it like this one also, 30 p.m. make it p.m. so it understands what we want to do. We have here an employee data. We don't want anybody to change this data. Even we don't want this rank is visible to anybody except for the managers. To apply this effect, we will use worksheet protection features. Let's first unlock all the locked cells. To do that, first select and right click to find the format cell. Here we have the protection. It is locked. Let's make it unlock. Now let's select the cell we want to lock. We want the column B and column C. First let's unhide column D, that's the rank. Let's hide, and now let's go to format cell and lock it again. Now go to review and protect sheets. The review home tab, here is a review. Then protect sheets. It says protect sheets for locked sets. We can put our password and one more time to double check our password. Now we have the effect. It's grayed out. So if we want to make any change, we can't. Even we can't unhide it also. We can unhide it. So this help us to protect our sheet. We can unprotect sheet by going again to review and say unprotect. We must not forget our password, however, because if you forget, we lost our sheet. If we want only certain people open this file, we can protect the workbook as a whole. We will put a password protection on the file. To do that, go to File and Save As. Save As on the PC, and here we have an option, general option, password to open the file or password to modify the file. Either we can use one of it or we can apply both option. Let's try the first option. Let's enter our password here. Easy to remember password, 2 digits, and re-enter the password again. Now let's close the file. First open the file, again close the file, and we'll open the file again. Ctrl plus W to close it. Ctrl plus open, again file. Now it requires a password. We can enter the password to open the file. In the same procedure, we can try the second option. Go to File again and Save As, and on Tools option we have a general option here. Now let's use a second option, password to modify. Re-enter the password once again and save the file, and yes, replace. Now let's close the file and reopen. Ctrl plus W to close and to open. Ctrl plus O. Now it asks us a password, or to open it in read only, can enter the password since we have, or we can open read only. Now it opens. In the last lecture, we have seen how to protect the content of our workbook. In this lecture, we'll see how to protect the structure of our workbook. Let's try it in action. We have here protect workbook command, view workbook, protect command, click it, and we'll enter a password to it. Click. It's required password. We can re-enter the password again. Look the effects here. Right click and we can't insert, delete, hide or unhide, or move the sheet. We can unprotect the workbook by deleting the password. Delete the password. Now we unprotect the workbook. We have restored the other action also. We are looking at this list, and sometimes it is advantageous to be able to see different parts of a list at the same time, and one way is to use the split feature of Excel. We can split the screen horizontally and vertically. If you want to split the sheet or the screen top and bottom, we will use a horizontal split. Let's test that. Position the selector around the midpoint and go to view and split. Now we can compare data or check names or do other steps. Look, the bottom is scrolling and the top one is also scrolling as well. The same manner, we can split the screen vertically. Let's first delete the horizontal split. We can double click to delete that. First point selector around here and go to view and split. Now we have two screens. We can move the split line and compare or do other stuff in the screens. We can also split the screen horizontally and vertically at the same time. Usually we don't need it, and it will make things complex, but we can do, if we need it, we can point at the middle of the screen and go to split. Now we have 4 windows or 4 splits, and we can compare or do other stuff. If the need is there, the future is at our hands. We have a huge worksheet here. If you want to present this information and we don't want to bother our audience with the details, we can collapse this and show only some of the data. Like you can show only the quarters. To do that, point the selector on one of the cell, and we'll go to data and group, and here we have auto outline. Now the data is ready to be collapsed to show only what we need to display or show. If we click here, we'll see only the quarters data. Here also, if we click 2, we can collapse the detail of the cells and focus on the results. If you click 1, we'll end up only the net profit. We can return back by simply clicking the plus sign or the collapsed numbers. We can also clear the outline by going to ungroup and clear the group. So this way we can use the collapse method to focus on our data. When we work with large data, scrolling to left and down, we lose sight of the top row and the first column. Most of the time we want to see the header and the first columns. Excel has an excellent feature to handle this type. We can freeze the top row first. We can go to view and freeze pans and freeze top row. Now the top row is fixed while we scroll it to down. In the same manner, we can freeze the first column. Let's unfreeze it. This first and freeze first column and the third one. Now we can scroll to the right and the first column is visible. There may be times to keep pause, and we may add some column and rows to be visible as well. You can do this by pointing the selector to the place we want to freeze. Now let's point here to D2. Keep the 3 column A, B, and C, and also the top row. Now let's go to freeze pans, and now first unfreeze and freeze pans. Now we can check the result. The 3 columns are fixed as we scroll it to the left, and the top row is also fixed as we need it. Sorting is the most common tools for data management in general. We have this list on this worksheet, and the list is not in particular order right now. We can easily sort this list by employee name or department or contract status, or by hire date, or possibly by their salary amount. To apply a simple sort, like if we need to sort by employee name alphabetically, you click on the column and go to data and sort, either A to Z or Z to A. We can do that. Try the A to Z. Now we have arranged the data by the employee. Can use also the department if we need. We can sort by their salary amount. Now this time we can use also other method. You can sort the list by a multiple of criteria. To do that, go to data and sort. Now we have this dialog box, column and sort value. Lastly, the order, either from largest to smallest or from to the reverse order. Let's sort by department, make the order A to Z and add another level. Now sort it by employee name, and the order will be A to Z again, and add another label. This time it will be a status. The order will be A to Z again, and finally one more order label. This time we'll sort by employee salary, and the order will be from largest to smallest. Now click OK and see the effect. Now we have sorted by department, and then by employee name, then by status, and finally by their salary amount. So there are a lot of ways to sort our data in many order, like we did this. Sometimes we do want to see some rows and hide other rows. To do this, filter feature will be a handy tool for us. First, make sure our data has not empty rows and empty column. Simply click on one of the cells and go to data and filter, and we see a filter arrow at the top of the column. Let's see, for example, the department. We have here an alphabetical list of the departments. Let's select 2 of the departments. First unselect all, and then select like manufacturing. 1 is enough. Manufacturing, it says 4 out of 15 records. We can clear the filter if we want to see all the data again. For texts, we have additional option here. We can add all the finance, the status. We can filter what we want. Let's select all or clear. For text we have additional option. Here we have equals, not equals, begin with, custom filter, and others. And for numbers also we have a lot of ready-made options available. We can do between top 10. Let's try the between. We can find data between 50 or 70,000 and less than 80,000. Yeah, this should be 70,000. So the salary between this range will be filtered. It's great. If we encounter duplicates in the data and we want to remove them, we have an excellent feature called remove duplicates. In this list we have some duplicates, like here we have the same name, Terry, and the same details, and we want to remove it. And click any one of the cell and we'll go to remove duplicates here. So we can select all the columns, remove duplicates here, can select all the columns or some of it and click OK. Now it says 2 duplicates values found and removed. This is a very important feature, especially our data is huge and hard to find duplicates values manually. So now we have removed all the duplicates in the data. If you want to have the subtotals for each department, we can manually insert a formula to get the subtotals for each department. However, we have a dynamic tool to get the subtotals automatically. We have here a subtotal feature in the data management menu. We must sort the data ahead of time if we expect the coherent results. We have sorted the data in the last lecture. Here let's select the department. That means whenever the department changes, the subtotal will be also changed, and we can select the function sum or others parameters, and here we can select the year and the salary and click OK and see the result. Now we have the subtotals for each department. We can go one step shorter to see only the department, and here we have a condensed data. If you want to copy this data to new sheets, you can go to home, select to select, go to home and go to special and select visible cells only. Now we can go and paste. First copy the data, we didn't copy it, and go back and paste. Now we have this condensed form of our data. So it's great. We can ungroup if you don't need that. Go to subtotal and remove all. This will remove all the subtotals from the list. Here we have employee name, and we want to sort this data by the last name of our employee, but their first and last name are in the same column. How can we separate it and sort the data by only their last name? Here we have a feature called text to columns. Here we get the data and text to columns. First, let's insert one more column here, just before the department, and now select the column and go to data and click text to column. Here we have a wizard to do the job. The default choice is delimited. Characters such as commas or tabs support each other, or a fixed width. For our case, let's use a delimited option, and let's click next. Now a list of options are available for the delimiters: the semicolon, tab, comma, space, and others. For our case, the names are separated by space, so select space and look. Here's the effect, and then we'll finish the wizard. Now we have separated the first and the last name in two columns. Go ahead and call this last name, and this is the first name. And now we can sort the data by the last name, A to Z, and we have sorted. In the last lecture, we have split data in columns by text to column features. In this lecture, we'll do the same job by a flash fill. Flash fill is a new feature in Excel starting from 2013 version of Microsoft Excel. Let's first combine these names by flash fill. And to do that, first insert a new column here first, and then we'll start typing the name, either the list order or in the reverse order, and go to data and flash fill. To do it, there's Charles and Michael, and let's go to now data. Here we have flash fill, and you can see the description: automatically fill in values. If you click, we'll have this. We have combined in a simple method. That's great. We can use flash fill to split the data also. Let's add another column. Let's delete that first, and we can split this name into last name and first name. Let's insert on this column here, and here let's add more. Now just for a border. Try to start from the last name, that is Michael, and go to data and flash fill. Now we split the last name, and in the same manner we can do for the first name. They start with Charles and go to data, and now we have done it. So you can delete that and go ahead and call this first name. We have split the data successfully. That's great. Sometimes we want to validate data before goes on the worksheet. Here in this worksheet we have an employee ID. We want to limit the number of characters the ID will contain. To do that, select the column and go to data here and the data validation. Here we have settings, input, message, and an error alert. For the validation criteria, we select text, links, and select exact and equal to, and the number of characters will be 4. Let's say it is 4. And the input message, the title of the message can be reminder. Call it reminder. And the input message can be must be 4 character. Must be 4 character. And click OK. Click OK and you will see the effect. Now we have this message. If you enter 5 character, we'll get an error. That's correct. So it's working. That means if you don't want to type every time we enter data, we can use also a validation method to select it as a list. To do that, select the column. Here we want to apply, and we'll go to data. Call this maybe contract type, and wait a bit and go to data, select first a column, and we'll go to data here and setting part, select the list, and for the source select this C from C1 to C3, and now click OK. Now we can select from the drop down list. That's great. Even we can move it to other sheet. We can copy it and move, cut and copy to other sheet, and we can check it's still working. And we can even hide it if we need to hide, and it is working. So data validation is a great tool for us. The goal seek helps us to find the right input for the value we want. We'll do two exercises. Here we have the PMT scenario. We want to borrow money and the condition is at 50.5 interest rate with 16 months payoff. If we want to borrow 44,000, our monthly payment will be 840. If we can't afford paying 840 every month and we want to increase the term of payments instead, how can we adjust it? In this case, GoalSeek will help us to do the job. So go to Data and What If Analysis and GoalSeek. If you want the payment value to change and the value to 500, for example, if that is our capacity, and since we can't change the interest determined by the company, so the changing cell will be J5, that is a term. So let's process, and now the term of payment will set to 130. With this term, I can afford $500 every month. Let's try another example. Here we have list of salary and the company became profitable and increase their salary by this percent, 2.21%. The sum of the total salaries around 53 million, as you can see, but the company has a capacity to increase up to 55 million. How can we figure out this increase rate? Let's first find the sum of the new salary. The sum will be around 53,251,000, and use the GoalSeek. You go to again Data and click GoalSeek, and now select the total and this value, and here 55 million, and the changing cell will be the rate. Put the rates and see the result. So the management can increase the salary even up to 5.5%. We have here a 1-year sales projection. Here, the other month's sales amount are depends on the sales in the January, the first month's sales. Sometimes we want to know the maximum projection and the minimum projection from the first month. We can manually do it creating other version of the sheets, but the scenario manager creates for us different group of value or scenario, and we can switch between the result of the scenarios. Now let's create 3 scenarios for these sales projections. Let's create standard, high sale and low sale scenario. To define these 3 scenarios, go to Data, What If Analysis, and click Scenario Manager. Let's give it a name. Let's call is the first scenario standard, and the changing cell would be cells. Changing cells would be the cell, the shipping, and goods. Can click comma and select the goods and click OK. And click OK also. And let's create another scenario for optimistic sales. Let's call it max, maybe high sale, and the changing cell would be first one would be, we can set this down 800,000. This is optimistic, so let's make it 800,000. The shipping will be also 140,000. 140,000. This, let's make it 140 and 30, and the cost of goods is decreased to 700,000, and click OK. Now let's create the first scenario, the option, that is the pessimistic sales option. Let's call it say low sale, and change the sales to be the sale should be less. Let's make it 500,000, and the shipping to be 110,000, and the costs of good became increased and set to 980,000, and click OK. Now we have this scenario, and we can show and one by one and observe the change on the profit. So you see, we can show the change, can dock the created scenarios in the quick access toolbar. Let's close this. To do that, go to the quick access toolbar, and here more commands, select the all commands option, and here we have down we have scenario. Let's add it and click OK. Now we dock it now. Now we have these three scenario managers. In the last lecture, we have seen the use of goal-seek, where we are able to change the result of a formula by changing one of the formula's components. Solver is a more sophisticated version of a goal-seek. In this worksheet, we have a total here, and the total depends on what is happening in a lot of the other cells and the components. If you imagine the profit would be higher, say 260,000, how can we change optimized inputs? Solver help us to guess that in a simple way. So let's first activate the solver add-ins. To do that, go to file, and here option, and here add-ins. here we have the solver. Click, go to have it in the menu. Now check this checkbox and click OK. And when we open the goal seek, here we'll have this dialog box. So our objective is to increase this total. So max, min, and value will be here 260,000. Let's change sales, shipping, and the goods so that we can get the optimized value. This would be the sale and also the good. We want this also. There is not that much significant. We can leave it for now. You can skip it and go to dialog box again, subject to constraints. Let's add some constraints here. The first constraint will be sale. Let's make it now let's on 140,000 and add another constraint. Let's make this shipping maybe doing 7,000, and finally one constraint, the good should be less, has been greater than like 73,000, not so much lower than this actual things. So solver 2 is automatic. Let's click, we have the result. So we can keep the solution if we want it, or we can restore the original version. So click OK. Now you see the results. In this worksheet, we have a series of interest rates across the row and different payment option down the column. And this is a payment period. It is 16 months. So how can we produce a matrix of comparison table? So to compare each payment with its interest rate. Let's first get a master formula. We can put a master formula here in B3. We'll use a payment function, the PMT function. So let's put the formula here equal to PMT, and it requires 3 arguments. The first one is the rate, that is 3%. This is a yearly rate, so we will divide it by 12, and comma, the number of period is 60 months. That's the A1. Let's select A1 and comma, and finally the amount of borrowing, that is 2,000 for this period. Close the press and enter. It's a negative result. Actually, this is expected. Just for the sake of viewing, let's change this to a positive one. let's add this minus. So this is a monthly payment amount. Now let's create the data table based on this master formula. Let's highlight the cells in advance. We want to generate the matrix including the row and the column. So go to data and what if analysis and data table. We have now row input sales. It should be 3% and the column input will be the 2000, that is B2. So click OK. Now we have a matrix of comparison tables. Just we can format these numbers to be more readable. Right click, format cell and number. We don't want to show the penny, so we can even format even better. Let's change the color, and we can also center it if we need. We can select any color we want. So this is what we have generated the matrix based on the master formula. In this lecture, we will see the COUNTIF family functions application. COUNTIF, SUMIF, and AverageIf functions. Let's start with the COUNTIF functions. We have a list of category with its price and revenue generated. We want to know how many items are available in each department. To calculate that, we'll use the COUNTIF functions. So let's enter that useful formula. Here the items part is equal to COUNTIF. Select the COUNTIF functions. The range will be column B, that is a department, and the criteria, comma, and the criteria will be the kitchen itself. The name of the item, that is the kitchen, and we'll close the brace, and enter. Now we have the results. We can double click to copy it down or drag it down. Now we have the total item in each department. What if we want to know the total revenue generated for each items? In this case, we'll use the SUMIF functions. So let's enter that formula also. Here the revenue part is equal to SUMIF, and the range will be the same with the previous, that is the department, and comma, the criteria will be the kitchen, the name of the category, and the sum range will be the revenue column, that is column E. We'll select column E and double click. Now we have this result. We can drag it down to apply for the other category as well. Now we have the total revenue for each item in the departments. Last but not least, we can see the average function. Our goal is to find the average price for each item category. So to do that, we can enter the AverageIf functions here is equal to AverageIf, and the range will be the same, that is the department column, and the criteria will be also the same, and the average range will be now the C column, that is the price. Can close the brace and we can drag to apply it to down. Now get this. So these are the powerful tools and easy to use as well. The Vlookup function is a very important and powerful function in Excel. There are two major kinds of Vlookup uses, one for approximates, the other is for exact match type. Let's start with the approximate approach. We have here a discount rate table based on the subtotals here in column D, and we'll approximate the discount rates comparing with the lookup table there here in G and H column. The Vlookup function will pick a data from this column, compare its value with the amount, and apply the approximate discount from column J. Let's enter this formula. Start with Vlookup is equal to here equal to Vlookup, and the lookup table is column C, the subtotals, that is C2, and the table array is this table, that is the discount table. Let's select it, and the column index would be 2. Starting from left to right, it is column 2, that is number 2. So now we can select the match type, comma, the match type will be approximate match. Close the brace and enter. Now we have this amount. If we want to copy the formula to down, however, we need to make sure the lookup table is obsolete. Its reference should be obsolete. So go and select the reference, press double click to access the formula, and press F4 to make it obsolete. Now it is fixed. Now can double click to copy it down. So now we can compare the discount with the discount rate and the subtotals. So this is a good example of using the Vlookup function for an approximate match. The next lecture will explore how Vlookup will be used in exact match. In the last lecture, we have used how we can use a Vlookup function with approximate match approach. In this lecture, we'll be working on the exact match type. We have two tables in this worksheet. We have the Atlanta city temperature data and this lookup table with precipitation and type of weather it brings. We are going to find the weather type in Atlanta city by comparing this predefined weather category. We'll use a Vlookup function to find this. Let's enter this formula here in H2 is equal to Vlookup. The lookup value will be the precipitation amount in column G and select that cell, that's a column, and comma. The table array will be this table from J to K. Select the 2 column, and the column number will be 2, starting from left to right. It will be 2. That is it is K. Sets, comma, and the march type will be the exact march. So select it and close the brace. Here we get the result. To copy it down, we have to make the table array absolute reference. So double click to get that formula. Double click and we'll be able to make it absolute reference. Press F4 to make it absolute. Now we make it absolute. Now we can drag it down. So now we have all this data, the exact match from the precipitation table. PivotTable is a powerful Microsoft Excel feature. Here we have a list of data. Now we can analyze this data by filter, sort, subtotal, group, and the other method. To analyze this data from different perspective and to get a very good insight, PivotTable would be a handy and easy method. So to insert a pivot table, select one of the cell and go to insert menu, and here we have a pivot table. Then we'll get this dialog box. The first option will help us to determine the range of the data. We can use the entire sheet or part of it, and the second option will help us to determine where we want to put the pivot table, the new sheet or the existing sheet. We can click after we select, and in the left we have a placeholder for the pivot, and on the right we have the pivot table fields. Here we have the agent, product, state, customers in this example, and this will help us to filter, and here the individual rows and individual columns. Here the values or the numerics are analyzed. Let's see it in action. Let's drag the agent to the rows field. So the agents are listed, and let's also drag the revenue to the values, and the sum of revenues automatically appear here. So we can sort the results if you wish to do so. Let's sort it from small to large, and also we can format the result. Can format, let's make this green. Let's differentiate the result by product. Drag it to columns. Here we have the columns, revenue, and agents in the rows. Let's format it. You can design from the result from the design tab. You can make it also bounded or the rows and columns. We'll explore more in the next lecture. In the charts section, we were creating different charts to eliminate our raw data, and with pivot tables we also have the ability to create charts. We have this list of data. Now, before creating a pivot table, however, we can create a pivot chart from the beginning. So to insert pivot chart, select one of our data and go to insert, and here we have pivot charts. As we did for a pivot table, we can select the range and the place we want to place the pivot chart. Let it be to new sheets this time, and let's click OK. Now here we have a pivot table and chart new area. Here, instead of the row, we have axis, and instead of columns, we have a legend. Let's drag agent and a number of items sold. Let's drag the agent here to the row, and the number of items sold to value. So here we have this chart. You can change the chart type here on the design tab and change chart type. Go to design tab and change chart type. Let's change maybe this one. Now it looks better. We have the chart style. Also, we can do other design options. This may be good. Can change the chart styles also from here. Let's make this one. It's much better. We can try other possibility of the pivot chart to analyze our data in different ways. In the last lecture, we have created these pivot tables on our agent sales raw data. Let's explore it more. Let's find other breakouts and other insights on the customer part. To do that, let's put the product and pull out the product and insert the customer into columns, or can uncheck the product and check the column the customer as well. So you can simply drag it to columns. Can find other breakouts also. We don't want to see agent names here, and we want to pull out the agent, and we want to see the regions. So we can simply uncheck the agents, or we can drag the states to rows. Now we have the sales by region and a customer with the same table. We can reverse this order. Let's move the regions to columns, and let's move these states to columns part and customer to the row. You can simply drag and drop. So now it's much better. It looks good. If you update our source data and we want the update apply on the pivot table, we should use the refresh method. We can get the refresh method in the Analyze tab. Let's try to update that and go to the Analyze tab and can refresh to update the table. The next lecture we'll see how we can use pivot tables for grouping data and time. To see the date and time grouping, let's make some changes on our pivot tables. Let the rows be dates and states be regions. We have grouped the data with the dates, but it is not compact and concise. It will be great if we can able to group this data by month or year or quarter. To do that, right click on one of the dates and we'll get the group command there. Just click the group. Here list of options from second to years. Let's select for now months, quarter and years and see the result. Click OK. Now it's much better. It is very compact and concise. Let's move the dates to filters. Move this row, the date to filters and look. Now it's become much better. You can see the year with the quarters. We can also reverse this order. Let's reverse the quarters with the year. Now see the first quarter with the different years. This can also be good for comparing data. Can go to Design tab and add subtotals or delay subtotals and on and off the grand total if we need to. There are many ways to analyze the data. We can experiment with every possibility. In the last lecture, we have grouped data by date in our pivot tables. You can also see some other ways to group our data as well. Say, for example, we want to group these two regions to one north region and this one to south region. To do that, select the two regions, northeast and northwest, and right click and then group. Now we have grouped and change the name to north. Let's change the name to north. In the same manner, select these two regions, southeast and southwest, and right click and group and change the name to south only. South. Now we can collapse to the compact form of our grouping, and we can also play with other analysis, and we can group also rows if we need to. If you want to, you can do that we can make our own grouping with any data with this method. It's powerful and effective. Slicers are introduced in Excel 2010, and it is a powerful tool to use less information visually. Let's see how it works. To insert a slicer, go to Analyze tab, and here we have Insert a Slicer. You can select the field or fields we want to include in the slicer. Let's select the agent, products, state, and customer, and click OK. Now we have 4 slicers. We can resize, can arrange them in the way we want to, and we can also give different colors just to differentiate each, and even we can wrap into 2 columns for managing the space we have. Let's give this 2 and put it here, and resize this a bit and change the color, the state to green. This may be orange and this one blue. Now we can experiment with the slicers. Let's see the northeast data. Let's filter that. Just click the northeast data, and here we have select certain products in this state. We can clear the filter if we don't want it. We can also experiment other as well. You can select multiple items by pressing the Shift key. So a slicer is a great tool doing filtering in visually creative method. You can delete the slicer if you don't need it any more from the table.